Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I would like to gift my book, The Golden Key, Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance to you at goldenkey.gift, where you can get the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD at checkout.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I am super excited that you've joined me today on what is always another magical today. Today's a little extra specially magical for me because, as I said on Thursday, I was going off on a camping trip over the weekend, and it was intensely magical, of course. For me, anytime I get into the trees, next to the water, the babbling brook, all is well in the world. And that is exactly how I feel after spending 3 days in the woods. And I want to share a little bit of my experience with you because there was a lot to it. There was a lot of messages being given to me in nature and even just listening to my own guidance and intuition while I was there. It was actually a lot easier to hear and a lot clearer when you are quiet and in nature. It just comes so much clearer and so much easier and instantaneously. So, first of all, before I even went, I'm going to one of my favorite campsites here in Arizona, and it's a dispersed camping site. And that means that it's first come, first serve. There's no camp host. There are no services. You pack in, pack out. There is a latrine, but no, thank you. I bring my own services. I have a whole setup. It's pretty amazing. A bathroom, a shower, the whole nine. I've been doing this for a little while, and so I like to have the comforts while I'm in the woods. There's no reason to really rough it, for me anyway. I'm getting a little old for that. So I enjoy the comforts of home in the woods, and I eat well and I sleep well, and it's just beautiful. So I go to this site mainly because it's right on the creek. That means I can sit there on the creek all day long because the sites are right on the creek. There's only about 6 sites. And like I said, they're first come, first serve. There are basically no rules. There's no quiet hours. There's no limit of how many people can be in a campsite. And so when you go there, you just have to hope that you're going to get a site. And so I went up on a Thursday. I was pretty confident that I would get a site. But for me, I wanted a specific site. And I was just determined to manifest that specific site. And there was no other possibility in my mind. I was going there and I was getting that site. And I just knew that it was going to be aligned for me because this is what I needed to do. It was very important for me to have this weekend for myself. And so that was just the way I saw it. It was the way it is. I could see it in my mind's eye and I could actually picture myself there. So what happens, I get there and you have to drive about 10 miles an hour down this really rocky road and then down into the canyon a little bit. And once I got down there, I could see that the campsite had a bunch of people in it already. So I was like, uh-oh. I get down there and the only site available is the one I want. Of course it is, because I manifested that. I had it no other way in my mind, and that was it. And really, that is as simple for me as manifestation has been in my entire life. When I see it in my mind's eye and I will have it no other way, that's just the way it is. It's that simple. And so I got the most perfect, beautiful campsite. What's most perfect and beautiful about this campsite is that I got to put my tent right under the trees, very close to the little ditch that was just a little uphill from the creek. And being in the shade all day in Arizona is a really wonderful thing. So that was the first beautiful thing that happened during this camping trip, was the realization that I truly can manifest anything I want, and that also things are aligned when it is divine and that is right, and then I'm listening. It will always work out when you are doing what you are supposed to be doing. And what's funny is in my mind, I had this idea that I was going to go up and I was just going to write. I was going to just write the entire time, sit by the creek and just bang out a ton of writing. Well, I get there and I don't do a damn thing. I sat there and just sat there. I just sat there and watched the creek. And as the sun moves around all day, you have a different view, different reflections, different scenery to look at all day long. And so for me, I had this beautiful movie to watch and I didn't want to do anything else but just be there. And I was actually starting to feel a little bit bad about that, about not getting any work done, because I'm kind of a doer. I like to be doing things and getting things done. And as I was starting to feel a little bit bad, I heard very clearly from my higher self say, nope, this is exactly what you were supposed to be doing. We wanted you to just sit here and to just be, to be in the peace and to just relax. You don't do that very often. And it's extremely important to just slow down and just be. And the whole writing the book thing was just an excuse to get me up there because I'm such a doer and I always need something to do. The going to just be, I needed a little extra reason, right? So that was my little extra reason. And they were telling me it's okay, that what I was doing there was actually going to help me just write the book a whole lot faster. Because when we slow down, we can actually do things a lot more efficiently, a lot more focused, and it comes out a whole lot better. And so that was a really beautiful lesson for me to learn. One of the beautiful lessons that I learned while I was there. So many lessons, actually. And what's neat is that I learned a lot of these lessons. At the same time, I saw a ton of different spirit animals around me, a lot of animal medicine, mostly actually a ton of spider medicine. And I noticed them, yet I didn't quite think about their meaning until the end of the trip. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the things that I learned, and then I'll share with you the animals that I saw and what they mean. So like I said, this is a dispersed site and there's no rules and however many people can come. So I was there on Thursday. Pretty much when I said I was the last site available, the two sites next to me had come and set up but left. So there was actually no one there on Thursday night. And so I was kind of alone on this like one little half of the campsite. There's like 3 on one side, 3 on the other. And that was really nice and quiet. And I was really, really enjoying the fact that I just had this quiet, peaceful time in the woods. I knew that might change a little bit come Friday afternoon and Saturday. And so I was really just enjoying the peace and quiet. Well, of course, Friday afternoon comes and so does the crowd. And it turns out that the 2 campsites next to me have maybe like 15 to 20 people apiece. Big families, they're having big parties and fun and tons of kids and playing in the creek and, yelling and doing all the things. And I was like, well, there goes that like quiet time. And at first I allowed myself to get a little annoyed about it. It's true. I allowed myself to just get like, I wanted quiet in nature. And I allowed my mind to kind of get annoyed about these little things because there were super inappropriate things that happened. Like the one people came Friday night, I think around 11 p.m. and everybody else was sleeping in the other campsite in the direct one next to me. And they had to walk through my campsite, the other campsite, to get to theirs at, 11:30 at night. And they were unpacking all of their stuff and the kids were playing in the creek and the flashlights were shining in people's tents. And yeah, it was quite the to-do. So of course I got a little annoyed about that. And in the morning I was kind of stewing over a little bit. And then I realized, knock it off. Knock it off. Don't allow anybody to ruin your trip, your vibe. You are here. Pay no mind. Sit in your bubble. Enjoy yourself. Listen to the creek and shut everything else out. And I'll tell you what, that's all we need to do when we let our minds just stew or roll around in what's annoying us or irritating us or making us angry. We can allow our minds to go in this thought process, in this hamster wheel of why it's so annoying and and stay there if we want to. And that doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. And so luckily, I realized this pretty quick and pulled myself out and refocused and sat in the gratitude all around me. And that was a very big lesson for me because this is something that I can do in daily life. I I'm not always very good at this. I was raised around a ton of anger and irritation, and I am probably 90% better than the way I was raised. At the same time, that can still come up where it's like that irritation will be like that first response. And I've been getting so much better. And this was such a beautiful kind of, it almost feels like a finalization of this concept for me, is that I really do get to create whatever I want, and my thoughts are the ones who create this reality for me. Because the minute I changed my thought process, my whole experience changed. Of course it did. The minute I was like, it's all right, I'm just going to enjoy. Well, you know what happened? Both those families left for the entire day, and I had the entire day there to myself. It was like it all of a sudden got quiet. It was so incredibly beautiful.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about our sponsor, Talkspace. When it comes to therapy, getting the help you need has never been so simple. Talkspace is like having a therapist in your pocket because you're able to access them from the comfort of your device via audio, video, or text 24/7. Talkspace is the #1 online therapy platform and has thousands of licensed therapists trained in over 40 specialties. I believe it is important, if you're struggling, to realize it's okay to seek therapy. And this is the simplest way I know of to do it. And it's for a fraction of the cost of in-house therapy. Once you join, you can speak with someone that same day. You'll set goals with your therapist and they hold you accountable and make sure you're really progressing. As a listener of this podcast, you'll get $100 off your first month with Talkspace. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com. Make sure to use the code POSITIVE to get $100 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's positive at Talkspace.com.
So now, each and every morning, I woke up and there was this beautiful red cardinal. So the red cardinal in Arizona it's a state bird, but at the same time, it's also a rare sight. You don't always see the red cardinal in Arizona as you would normally in other states that are more lush and more moist, right? So to see one here is just such a rare and special sight. And of course, when I see one, I always recognize that. The red cardinal to me, my mom, who passed away, geez, it's almost been 20 years now, but she has sent me red cardinals ever since she passed. The red cardinal is a very big symbol for our whole QHHT crew and Dolores Cannon. And the red cardinal itself, well, we'll get into that later, what all these messages mean. But I noticed this beautiful bird every single morning. There was one morning, though, I didn't notice it. And that was the morning that I was allowing myself to stew. And I thought to myself, I haven't seen the cardinal today. I wonder why. Oh, probably because my vibration kind of sucks right now. Maybe I should switch that. The minute I did that, I got in my little hammock that I had set up next to the creek. And who do I see? Red cardinal. Of course. What a big message from the universe. I have the power to decide my reality. I get to switch my focus and create whatever I want. I wanted to see a red cardinal. I switched my focus. There he was, teaching me a beautiful message. I absolutely love nature for this reason. If we just stop and slow down and pay attention, the messages are all around us. So, very, very close to that moment where that happened, the sun that day, it was partly cloudy, and the sun had just come out right over this place where I was sitting to shine on this one rock. It was like it was highlighting this one rock. So I had this realization after the cardinal. I look over, the sun is highlighting this beautiful rock, and all I see is Grandfather Rock. Just this beautiful, strong, sturdy, grounded ancestor Grandfather Rock. And I just felt so watched, so protected, and so incredibly loved. And in that moment, it was gone. the sun moved away again, and I didn't see that rock that way again the entire time. When it was just normally sitting there, it actually kind of looked like it had a little Buddha on it. So this was a very interesting rock. The whole entire place, very, very magical in and of itself. So the very first night that I was there, I set up a little shower tent so I can shower every night because, it's hot and you're by the creek and it just feels really good to take an outside shower right as the sun is setting. And so I was getting ready to go into the shower, and what do I notice? A tarantula, a humongous tarantula, probably like 6 to 7 inches in diameter, and it was right at the base of my shower. I was like, "Hi, little guy. I'm going to take a shower soon, and I'm going to need you to go back to wherever it is that you want to hide." And he did that, not before I got a picture of him, which was cool. And I just thought, wow, what another rare sight, a tarantula. I have never seen a tarantula in nature. I live in Arizona. I've never seen a tarantula. So they are super, super rare. I didn't look up what tarantula meant until the end of my trip. And again, I'll tell you about all these little animals at the end of the show. But I had some more spider medicine. As I was packing up my tent, I pulled off the rain fly, and there were at least 3 daddy longleggers. There may have been 4, scooting around all up underneath the tent. And when I saw them, I just felt so blessed and so protected because it was so wonderful. Those little guys eat all the bugs, right? So I was like, this is so great. No wonder why there's been no bugs anywhere near the tent. These little guys have been taking care of that for me the whole weekend. So again, the daddy longleggers, they like to hide as well. And it's not like you don't see them, but they don't usually just come out in plain sight. And so they're somewhat rare here in Arizona. And not only that, but they were mating. There were 2 of them mating right on the top of my tent. So that was a little extra special as well. So much medicine in nature if we just take a moment to look. So again, back to all the people and the partying. One of the lessons I had to learn there was patience. This was a family having a really good time on July 4th weekend. And yeah, they had a different idea of their weekend than I did. And I just had to not worry about what anybody else was doing and be patient. I have a lesson in patience in this lifetime. And so anytime things got a little wild or whatever, what have you, I was patient with it. I was able to be more patient with it, knowing that taking a different perspective and just saying, they don't know any better what they're doing. They don't quite have this camping etiquette that maybe I know and maybe some others know. They don't know it. Maybe they don't care. Who knows? They're having a really good time. And so I can be patient with that. Patience was a very, very big lesson for me. And so once I was able to be really patient with everything that was happening in my environment, I was able to have a whole lot more fun. So instead of me being irritated or annoyed about the blaring music, until like all hours into the night on Saturday, I was able to just laugh with them and have fun because they were having so much fun singing and laughing together. And I love to watch people or hear people have fun. And so that was fun for me. And one of the women came over and she said, "I'm sorry, we're going to turn it down soon." And I was like, you know what? You are fine. You are having so much fun. I'm enjoying it. So enjoy yourselves. And so what a beautiful lesson for me. I definitely needed a little practice in the area of patience. And this helped quite tremendously. I got to practice patience and it worked. And it was really wonderful. It feels a whole lot better. So when I got home, I looked up all these little beautiful creatures that were around me. Oh, I forgot to tell you about all the dragonflies surrounding me all day, every day. Mostly there were these beautiful indigo colored ones and also these fuchsia looking ones as well. Those are the ones that I noticed the most, but they were around all the time. So beautiful, that color of indigo that was. So, all right, the tarantula. When I got home and I looked up tarantula, what do you know? The meaning of tarantula is about being patient. Of course it is. Being patient. The first little guy I saw was sending the message of being patient. I'll tell you what, the universe is sending us messages all the time if we just stop and take a look and pay attention and listen. The tarantula comes when we need to gain perspective, when it's something important in our lives that we need to change our perspective on. It also comes to show us that we can contemplate and meditate to give us this different perspective. That's exactly what I did all weekend. And that's exactly how I got to this new perspective, by contemplating and changing my focus. The tarantula is telling us to be more sensitive to our environment, to pay attention to the messages all around us so that we can better listen to our intuition. And how about that? Something I was also very aware of over the weekend. The messages that are coming through in nature as long as we're paying attention to our environment. And then there was the daddy longleggers. The daddy longlegger, I told you I felt so protected and almost provided for when I saw them. And the daddy longlegger is actually, like, they call it like man's second best friend. Like, the dog is the first best friend and the daddy longlegger is the second best friend, because it eats all the little bugs. It is a symbol of building solid relationships and also of love and care and tenderness. The daddy longleg shows up when you need to change your perspective about things in life, when you need to just embrace the life around you and have a deeper understanding and flow with your environment. So in general, they are a sign of good luck and good fortune. And I certainly felt that immediately when I saw them. Now, the dragonflies. The dragonflies show up. Typically, they can mean change and transformation, which that's a really big change, to change your perspective and the way you look at things. That changes your entire life, the way you exist, the way you experience your reality. The dragonfly also connects us with nature spirits and fairy realms. And in doing that, it also provides lots of joy and lightness of being. That is one of the most amazing things about dragonflies. When I see them, that's exactly the way they make me feel. And this place I was in was very fairy-like, complete with tiny little fairy waterfalls too, that the dragonflies absolutely did love. And then the cardinal. So many of you probably know that the cardinal will come as a sign of an ancestor that has passed, or a sign that your ancestors are around. And the cardinal, being red, is also symbolic of the things that are associated with the root chakra. So that means safety and stability, protection, our family, our ancestors, and also a spiritual connection. Our root is very much involved. It is our foundation. It is very much involved in our spiritual connection and our intuition. And so the cardinal often comes when there is a big message that the universe is trying to give us. Being the color that it is, that beautiful color red, it's symbolic of unconditional love, and the unconditional love that we have, that is surrounding us, that is being showered upon us, that our ancestors, that our family, that our spirit guides and our higher self have for us, that our entire team has for us. We are so unconditionally loved. And our spirit guides are sending these spirit animals to us all the time. This is medicine that they are sending to us to give us another way to get the message. And for me, this is definitely one of my favorite ways. And if you just look at the animal or the little critter or whatever it may be, and think about how it functions, what does it do? Then you can see what its meaning is. It's actually really simple. It will tell you exactly what it means by just observing it. Nature works in beautiful ways like that. You can look at nature and learn so much about living life. It will tell you if you just be quiet and observe. I love you all so, so much. It was fun to share with you that experience and hopefully encourage you all to get yourself in the trees next to the water and just be quiet, listen, pay attention, and see what comes up for you. There is magic all around us every single day. I'm going to leave you all with a song for today. This is Medicine by Rising Appalachia. Until next time, I love you all.
Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
Say that rushing is violence, and so is your silence when it's rooted in compliance. To stand firm in loving defiance, make Archer alliance, give voice to the fire. Move people to the beat of the wind, gather yourself and begin to dance the song until it ends. We are winners, champions of the light, forming in numbers and might. Keep the truth close in sight. Medicine woman, medicine man, walking with grace. I know your face and I trust your hands. Medicine woman, medicine man, walking with grace. I know your face and I trust your hands. Find your teachers in the voice of the forest. Unplug, you can't ignore this wisdom of the voiceless. Remedies are bountiful and surround us, from the garden to the farthest. Prayer made of stardust. Find your healing in the music that calls you, the voice that enthralls you. What do you belong to? Eyes out, there's the setting of the sun. Give thanks to each and every one. The lesson is the medicine woman, medicine man, walking with grace. I know your face and I trust your hands. Medicine woman, medicine man, walking with grace. I know your face and I trust your hands. And extending my trap strip back into the messages and action. The art is feeding, stop start the disbelieving, cause the garden holds the shards, the medicine is in the seeds. When we hold tight to our right to protect, and we know our might is tenfold in connection. Our elders hold them bright lights, we protect them. The medicine is evident, the wolf, the hawk, the bear clan. We hold tight to our right to protect, and we know our might is tenfold in connection. Our elders hold them bright lights, we protect them. The medicine is evidence, the wolf, the hawk, the medicine woman, medicine man, walking with grace. I know your face and I trust your hands. Medicine woman, medicine man, walking with grace. I know your face and I trust your hands.